For years, Richard Hale, a lonely millionaire, had spent every Christmas Eve sitting by the grand fireplace of his vast but empty mansion, listening to the faint crackle of firewood and the echoes of memories that refused to fade. His wife had passed away a decade ago, and his only son had cut all ties with him after a bitter argument. Though his wealth could buy anything, it couldn't buy warmth, laughter, or the sound of joy that once filled his home. Each December, he would decorate the mansion, hoping, perhaps foolishly, that someone might come and bring back the spirit of Christmas he had long lost. That year, the snow fell heavier than usual, covering the long driveway of his estate in a silent white blanket. He poured himself a cup of hot cocoa, staring at the flickering flames, until a soft knock at the door startled him. It was strange, no one ever came to visit him, especially on Christmas Eve. Hesitantly, he walked to the door and opened it, revealing a woman in a worn blue coat, her cheeks red from the cold, standing beside two little girls clutching a small gift wrapped in red paper. "I'm sorry to bother you, sir," she said softly. "Our car broke down a mile away, and we've been walking in the snow. Could we please use your phone?" For a moment, Richard just stared, unsure what to say. But when one of the twins shivered and said, "Mommy, I'm cold," his heart melted in an instant. "Come in," he said quietly, opening the door wider. The warmth of the house enveloped them as he led them to the living room. The girls looked around in wonder at the giant Christmas tree covered in golden ornaments and twinkling lights. Their eyes sparkled, and for the first time in years, Richard felt a flicker of joy just watching their innocent awe. The mother introduced herself as Clara, a single mom who worked as a waitress in town. Her ex-husband had left her years ago, and she had been struggling to make ends meet ever since. They were on their way to her sister's house when the car broke down in the middle of the storm. Richard offered them hot cocoa, and soon laughter filled the air as the twins began talking about how they had made the small red gift for whoever needed Christmas the most. When they handed it to Richard, his hands trembled as he unwrapped it. Inside was a small paper angel, cut out unevenly but made with love. "We made it for you, mister," one of the girls said with a grin. "Because you looked like someone who forgot how to smile." Richard chuckled softly, but tears filled his eyes before he could stop them. That night, he insisted they stay over since the storm made travel impossible. He showed the twins his late wife's piano, and soon the sound of Christmas carols echoed through the mansion, songs that hadn't been sung there in years. For the first time in a decade, Richard felt alive again. He realized he had spent so long mourning his past that he had forgotten how to embrace the present. The next morning, sunlight poured through the frosted windows as they shared breakfast together. Richard found himself laughing, telling stories, and even letting the twins decorate his pancakes with whipped cream and berries. When Clara tried to thank him for his kindness, he shook his head. "No," he said with a heartfelt smile. "You brought Christmas back to me." Before they left, he offered to fix their car and invited them to come back for Christmas dinner every year. At first, Clara hesitated, but when she saw the genuine warmth in his eyes, she nodded gratefully. From that day on, Christmas was never lonely for Richard again. Each year, Clara and her daughters would come to the mansion with homemade cookies, songs, and laughter, and over time, they became like family to him. His once empty house was now filled with light, love, and the sound of joy he had lost long ago. Sometimes, fate doesn't give us what we expect, it gives us what we need, in the most unexpected ways. Richard had waited alone for years, but that Christmas, the knock on his door didn't just save a single mother and her twins, it saved him too. And as he looked out the window that night, watching the snow fall gently outside, he whispered, "Thank you, not to anyone in particular, but to life itself, for giving him back the gift of Christmas." So, if you believe that miracles don't happen anymore, remember this story, because sometimes, the smallest knock can open the biggest door to hope. And before you leave, don't forget to hit subscribe, because every story we share here reminds us that love, kindness, and second chances can still change the world.